Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, my name is Muhammad Farid Saifullah and you can call me Farid. So today, before we begin, how are you everybody? I hope you and your family in healthy. Well, I hope so. So today I want to review a novel by KATHLEEN BARBER. As you can see, Are You Sleeping? The title is Are You Sleeping? And this is her first novel become a author. This is her first project, Are You Sleeping? And this novel is released in 2017. Yes, and this novel, as you can see, the model of this novel looks so creepy and mysterious. You can see. Let me see. Oh my god, this novel I really love so much. You can see the yellow and the black tree and house over here. It's really cool. So KATHLEEN BARBER is a lawyer. Yes, and this novel is about a mystery. Can you imagine a lawyer come an author of mystery novel? It must be detailed about a case, and I'm sure you already curious about this novel because this novel is amazing. And if you love about the detective and investigating, you have to love it because this novel is good. So let's begin. This novel in the first chapter is a life of Josie Berman, but she changed her name to Josie Palsy because in the chapter 1, a life of Josie Berman is 10 years later to New York, and then 3 years later in New York, she become author like others, and then she is a Chuck Berman daughter. And then this first chapter is make him the daily activity of Josie Berman after her father died 13 years later. And then in the first chapter there's a calling to her phone, and then she pick up the call, and then there's no sound, and then she asks to the phone like, who is this? And she has a boyfriend, it's Caleb. And then she asks Caleb, is it you? And then she said I miss you. And then there, I miss you too, from the call. And then she think that something bad has happened, and then she calls the phone, and then she email Caleb and say, I'm sorry Caleb, my connection is not good. If you want to call me back, you can call me. And then no reply from Caleb because Caleb in Africa, in South Africa. And then she do her daily activity like work in a store to another store. And then the next morning, Caleb reply her email, and then he said, I'm sorry Josie, I'm really busy, I'm not calling you, I will call you later if I already do my stuff clear, and then I will call you later. I'm sorry, I love you so much. And then she's curious, who called her? And then After that, when he go to a supermarket, she heard about the crowd and tell the Polyparnel podcast. And the Polyparnel podcast title is investigate Chuck Berman murder. And then she heard it, and it's my father murder. How after 13 years later someone investigating again my father's murder? And then she asks her friend to she asks her friend to hear or not the podcast, and then the friend say, no, you shouldn't hear that podcast because that just make your father looks humiliating, and that's not justice. And that podcast and then she, in the last chapter, she finally opened the podcast and she heard the podcast. And then the next chapter is she heard the podcast, and that is Poppy Parnell. It's the lawyer and investigation as a detective. She is MC. I said she is how do I say, is not a narasumber, but she owned the podcast. So she asks to other narasumber, she asks other people who come, and there's a Warren Cave. Warren Cave is a murder with assumption of Lenny Berman. Lenny Berman is Chuck Berman second doctor, or the little one. And then Warren Cave said he is not a murderer. After 13 years, he said still, I'm not a murderer. I'm not. How can I? Warren Cave is Warren Cave is neighborhood of Chuck Berman in the next to his house. And then Lenny said she saw Warren Cave shoot a gun on her father, and then she assumption that Warren Cave killed her father. And then in the podcast that Polly Pernell asks to Warren Cave, so who is the murderer of Chuck Berman? And then Polly Pernell invite another narasumber, like a cop who investigate in 13 years before after the murder. And then the doctor who investigate the body of Chuck Berman, the dead body. And then everything said there's no gun in the TKP, or I said in the murder scene, in the murder place. There's no gun because he died by a gun in her head, but no gun in the murder place. After that, the Polypernal invite Josie to come to the podcast, and then Josie not come because their friends said, no Josie, it's a trap or it's something else. But Josie want to know the truth about her father's death. And then she meet Lenny, her doctor, her sister. And then she came to her old house when the tragedy in Chuck Berman, her father, died in the kitchen. And then Lenny said that she is shocked after 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 the her dad is died, and then she want to confess to Josie, and she want to investigate herself with Josie about the truth. And then she come to her mother's rooms and find out that she her mother is novelist, and she's an author too. So she wrote everything in the book, and then she find out that her father is cheat on her twice in her relationship. The first one is with her doctor teacher, and the last one is with Wedding Cave mother, the neighborhood. And then her mother don't take it, don't want to take it again, and she shot Chuck Berman with Chuck Berman guns in her head. And then Lenny hear that first in a scream with his mother, and then Lenny see her mother kill her father, and then her mother forced Lenny to make assumption that Warren Cave killed her father. And after that, Lenny finally, after Lenny know the truth about her mother, but her mother already died 3 years before, and then she confessed to Poppy Cornell about the truth about her father died murderer. And then Warren Cave with down heart say that it's okay, Lenny, if you it's okay. The most important things, the truth is already you said, and Warren forgive Lenny for her assumption after 13 years. At least Warren Cave is free from the jail, and then they live. But the Poppy Porno have her assumption itself before Lenny confess to Poppy Porno in her podcast. She assumption that, but it's true that Chuck Berman is cheated on her wife. And then the stories end, and I think this novel, the right of the novel from the beginning and the ending, is really made me wanna read over and over again, because this novel is made from the beginning of the investigation and the last of the investigation. This novel really made me wanna read again. And then, but the character of the novel is really good, but there's one character is a Jack, a Lenny boyfriend. He is really perfect in the novel, but like there is no human so perfect in the reality, but Jack is so perfect. I think it's okay because this is Kathleen Barber first novel, and then she already made a 5 or 6 novel from now on after release this novel. And then I hope you guys read this novel, because this novel really good. There's this novel in issue is a family issue, because there's and relationship issue, because cheating is not good for every relationship. If you cheat on someone, you should you should broke your relationship. And then the plot is the plot the another plot is lie. The biggest lie is not that hard until you find the real truth, because the truth is really hard. At least you should tell the truth, but it's okay if you tell a lie to make your better relationship, but the truth is important. I think that's all from me. Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for your attention, and goodbye, everybody. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.